Hello again and welcome back to inZOI, a brand new building video today, and I built a Star Destroyer in inZOI. Yeah, I did this because I have this ache to build a Star Destroyer in whatever game I can find. Don't ask me why, it's kind of a little thing to break a game to see what it's capable of. And oh boy, do I have to talk about this game a lot in this video. Now, for those of you guys at Crafton, if you're watching this video, and I know you are, this is by any means a huge criticism or anything. This is just me trying to really find the absolute limits of this game in the current state. And well, hold on to your this is going to be a wild ride because there are so many things I found that would be lovely to be improved in the final game, and I do assume that they will, but you know, this video will hopefully help to figure out what kind of is missing and where this building tool is not really super capable at this point, and specifically in different angular walls. But you know, without spoiling too much, I did find a little exploit towards the end of my building session. You can see this is a skip forward where I changed the design a little bit because I wasn't happy with the first one. So I went further into the build and tried a different type of angled wall arrays. And, you know, also a measurement is kind of missing, you know. We have this wonderful grid system, but then again, it doesn't really tell me exactly the measurements, and I really would love to have like a kind of a ruler or something like that to see easily snapping, you know, the same time, or like mirroring what I've built. That was the hardest part. You've seen me drawing all these horizontal lines with the walls to just notify me myself where the heck am I. So that's that. And also like legitimately having the freedom to place all the items at any angle that you can imagine. But then the walls aren't, is kind of odd to me, and I don't really find a reason why it would be. I mean, you know, this is a test reason and a test version, and I do get it, but it's very good to see what is needed and what not. And also, one particular thing you can see by this, by the bridge of the Star Destroyer is, like, if you know the real one, it has like a very distinctive style on the top part where the bridge sits in, and it is kind of angled towards the top, but it also is the same angle on the lower part. But as of now, we don't have anything in the game to put below a ceiling as of kind of, I don't know what this would be, but like any piece that could act like a little arch or something like this to help. Also, actually, to help to fix the structure, you know, this one floating over there, you would need to have some supports or so below there. And I would love to do something like this, but there was in fact nothing available, so I needed to work myself around this. It looks kind of okay, but it is a little bit too flat. And also for those huge Star Wars fans out there, this is by any means, you know, accurate or anything. I just wanted to, you know, use the Star Destroyer as a basic idea to build upon, because obviously also like the rear part of the Star Destroyer got me into trouble. I tried this to make it all a bit more smaller, but as we only have the 3-meter room wall as the, you know, as the smallest version, which is something I would love to be seen changed. Like 3 meters is already pretty tall. Like if I take Germany, for example, I think it's like 250 or something is the minimum, or actually 240 plus the ceiling. So kind of 250 would be the minimum. So 3 meters is actually quite tall already for like a like the minimum ceiling, you know. I'm not saying that this is like, I think for newer rooms and so on, it's almost standard, but like it would be lovely to see that. But you know, because of this, the whole structure became massive, and I needed to work myself around this problem by only building 2 levels, which I would have loved to have 3 levels to give the whole thing a bit more width and a bit more of the iconic look, but I couldn't. And the same applied to having 2 different angles, because if you take the Star Destroyer, it, like, if you look at it from top down, it looks like the top of a spear, for example, where you have this kind of almost diamond shaped. You know, you've got a very pointy bit to the one side, and then you have also some other angled pointiness on the rear side, which is a lot wider, and as if you push this down a little, but I needed to end with a flat end because otherwise this lot would be way too small. So a lot of these things are super basic, you know. It's nothing about the build tool itself, like placing and so on is super simple, even though I must say it would be lovely to, yeah, you know, we have already some hotkeys in, like for example, we have the hotkey of Control Z and Control Y for, you know, undo and redo, which is amazing. But like I would love to have also copy paste as like Control C, Control V, because like we have copy paste as an option in the game, and I do see the point that like you know, I would also love to be able to just mark 2 pieces at the same time, you know, hold down shift and then click on 2 pieces, for example, to move them around simultaneously. That would have given me the chance to do a lot of things. As this is Unreal 5, I do assume that all of this in here would be taken from the engine anyways. Like, I'm not an expert, but I think this could be able, because I know that a lot of games build upon, you know, this version of the engine, and for example Park Studio does so. They take a lot of these functionalities right out of Unreal Engine because they have them already in the engine, so hopefully that would be a thing. But I was impressed by how much I could already trick the system. The longer I tried building, and it took me like a full 3 hours or so to figure out what I was doing. And oh, by the way, if you're still listening to this point in the video, thank you so much. If you consider subscribing to the channel, that would help me out tremendously. The last couple of weeks were amazing in terms of growth, and you know, if you like the content, there's more coming in the future. Creative builds in any kind of game you can imagine. Hit that subscribe button. And also, if you want to see more of this, there is more content about this Star Destroyer to come. I also started to do some interior works, which will be funny in a way, but more about that in the next video. I think this also will be the last couple of bigger stuff I can do, because, you know, we are now only 1 day away from the end of our early access, and I'm trying to collect as many footage stuff as I can to bring you more videos about this. But these builds honestly take a lot of time, which is not down to the game being slow or so. This is just because, you know, the limitations make it slower, so I need to first of all figure out. And this, my friends, is the piece. This is the piece that will guide us to further galaxies. I tell you, I didn't notice this at this point where I was using this piece, but eventually this rooftop piece, whatever this thing is called, is the only thing in the game I found that literally can be placed on anything you can imagine. Like, it seems to have no collision whatsoever. As soon as you hit shift, this piece becomes the inevitable thing. It becomes the final boss for this game. And once I figured that out, there was no holding back anymore. So if you consider this already be, oh, by the way, this, oh my god. You know, maybe if for those of you who watch this video, who have been here for the full 8 years of my channel, hopefully you guys have as much of a smile in your face as I have. Because this goes all the way back 8 years to me building the Star Destroyer in Planet Coaster. And back in the day, we even didn't have the pieces, and so I used the rotation trick to create something round, which is exactly the same thing I'm doing over here. A bit sloppy though, not gonna lie, because I was too, you know, I actually was too lazy to do the exact same angles and anytime. But it still turned out to be looking kind of fun with these huge radar balls, or whatever these things are called, these antennas to the left and right of the Star Destroyer. They're so iconic, and I wanted to do something with those, and so I used this exhaust to rotate this around. And from the top part of the exhaust, because it was roundish on the outside, you kind of get this, you know. I could have done this much nicer by just spending more time on doing this, but you know, eventually it looks good, and I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with the result. I'm very pleased with how it all turned out to be looking. And I mean, just in general, I'm very pleased with this game and this state already. So if they keep on developing this and consider our feedback on this one, oh my god, this is going places. And let me tell you, for those of you who asked about my PC, just check the description. I have my system always down there for you to know what kind of stuff I'm running on. And also a little additional note, my RTX 2080 Ti is about to die. Like, it's literally broken already. Many of the crashes I have on my system are not down to any games or so. They are down to my graphics card, because it ran for the last 3 years, day in, day out, and it's time for replacement, but I don't have the money. Also, I tried to make Han, the younger version of Han, and I failed dramatically, but I will use this in a different video. This is just for me, like a little moment to plug this in, to keep watching also the next video, because we need to talk about a little problem I found in the character editor, but more about that in this dedicated video. I just wanted to show you that I tried to make Han Solo in here, the younger version, and I failed dramatically, so consider this being a thing for next video. And now, guys, it's the final countdown, because then I noticed something which I wasn't aware of, but as you can tell, for some whatever reason, you can place these type of roofs as well, not only the other piece, this one as well. You can literally rotate this in any direction if you deactivate the snapping and the grid. Now, I thought this would also be happening for walls, but it just didn't work. Or maybe it's my stupidity, but it didn't work. So at this point, I was like, hey, if that works, hold on. What would this look like if I use this piece for everything? So I just first of all placed the door to the backside to see if someone can get in, and I wanted to do something for like the engines, but I used these three. I like it. This is just like a little nod to the original one, and you know, I colored them in this kind of turquoise color, just for the little nod. It's not something crazy, you know. It's just like here to have this little knot in here. It's not even the correct color. I'll do this color as soon as I can. But there are no bigger roundy pieces I could use. So yet again, I would love to be able to scale pieces at some point. That would be lovely. I didn't feel like the need to at this point, because, you know, many pieces like the roof pieces and so on are already scalable. So would be lovely to have an array of generic pieces maybe that you can like scale, you know, have some round pieces and some vertical, like horizontal pieces, whatever, like just some general art shapes. And here you can see a big jump ahead. I just figured, okay, well, I can make this look all a lot more clean. And now we come to my favorite piece. I then figured, hey, wait a second, this roof can even go into walls without even letting me know it's a problem. And I was like, okay, hold on for a second, we're gonna do this. And also the texture to the outside, because it has its own shape, scaling it kind of created this very typical Star Destroyer outer appearance. And I also looked for the alloy that it actually is. I forgot the name already. It's kind of Dunit or something like that. The alloy, or like do whatever. Dunium it is, that's the word. I just recalled that one. It's kind of a metal alloy that they use in Star Wars, but whatever. And this looked kind of fun, and I put a nice color on it to make it resemble the color of the Star Destroyer. I would need to make this all a tad darker, but you know, for this video, that's all fine. And I'm very, very, very excited about this result, because oh boy, this changed everything. I even was able to, you know, sneak in some windows to the outside to have like a little bit of a dim light inside of the Star Destroyer, which I will not really need that much, because the interior will need to be a bit more dark, because actually we would be in space, you know. And I also have like a little bit of a trick for that one too. So that's kind of lovely, and I really do hope you enjoyed that. And for those of you who are on my channel, hopefully we can make another check mark now, because yet another game that features a Star Destroyer. That's typical Rudi, isn't it? So yeah, I really I really love doing this. This was a lot of fun. Challenge accepted, mission accomplished, I should say. And yeah, so that's the final result you can see on screen. And I just want to add, obviously, that this is by any means like a perfect Star Destroyer, and it completely falls out of the look of this game, which is down to the fact that I needed to abuse a lot of things which are not meant to be this way. So for crafting, I do hope that we will have the pieces in the final version to make a super realistic looking Star Destroyer in-game, like as a house if we want to, that also looks like the other houses around. I know, that's a challenge, but hey, I mean, why do the boring and simple stuff, you know? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really enjoyed this one as much as I did, and if you want to share that with some friends, please do so to keep on the creativity and pass it on. I would love to see you in the next one. As I said, there will be some interior, some talks about the character studio, and yeah, can't wait for that one. Have a good time, and goodbye.